Hello, everybody, and welcome. The third week, the third episode of Football. It's your boy, Big Hoppa, Bryce Hopwood, Anthony, the Milkman Ventura on the other side of the Zoom call there. And this has been a crazy afternoon, but we got some special stuff planned for later in this episode. But first, I'd argue maybe one of the more special things we have to talk about is your Saskatchewan crew and their bid for the playoffs being over.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a special thing. It's actually pretty heartbreaking in my limited time as a Rough Riders super fan. I've been only let down. They've lost every game since I've been a fan. Lost out on the playoffs, fired their coach. It's really, as a Cleveland Browns fan, I'm getting the full experience now in the CFL. It's a mess. I wish. Well, I'm not gonna have a chance. The season's over for us, but I wish I could see a win before I have to suffer through this entire offseason winless going into next year.
That'd be really too bad if you just didn't see a winless. Obviously, I mean you're gonna have to suffer winless because there's no Saskatchewan. I really want to say Saskatoon because I got corrected on that, but I on no Saskatchewan. So you're gonna have to go a whole off season through a coaching search and no wins. I, on the other hand,
Hmm.
I've come to a decision, and that
Let's
team,
hear
the decision I've made, the team Bryce Hopwood, little drum roll, please. The team that I will be supporting is the team that knocked yours out of this
it.
playoff race. The Calgary Stampeders. I couldn't be more excited. And look, you kind of asked me why. I was I was leaning towards Winnipeg, and I felt that I had good reason. But at the end of the day, Calgary dominated and got into the playoffs. And look, here's kind of where I was, what I texted you. Calgary's motto is onward. Wisconsin, the state that I'm from, the motto is forward. Stampeders, it's the yearly rodeo, the Stampede. I read a little bit about Wisconsin. A lot of cows here. So kind of on the same plane, red and white with Wisconsin. That's kind of obvious. If you're a American college football fan. Reggie Beagleton, he was a Packer for like a week twice. So shout out Reggie, my boy. Obviously, he's probably a white whale for this podcast at this point. Um, I like Kadeem Carey. Liked him in college. Used him in the NCAA video game. And they haven't won a Grey Cup since my daughter was born, which will be almost 4 years now. So it doesn't feel too bandwagony. And now the playoff stretch for them continues, and it's very similar to my Badgers bowl streak. So I feel like I'm in a good spot where this isn't like a total bandwagon play, and I have some fair reasons. Also, I looked up one of the biggest neighborhoods is called Eau Claire, which there's a town in Wisconsin called Eau Claire as well, EAUCLAIRE. So there's that too. So it was kind of a no-brainer. But yeah, basically, to start this podcast, I'm better than you. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, so basically I'm starting in a great place and I'm excited about it. But like I said, this week is going to be fun. Let's go over the games a little bit. Now, I didn't get to watch a whole lot Saturday, but take me through Toronto and Saskatchewan as you were watching and your playoff hopes were living and breathing.
Yeah, it hurts. It's gonna hurt to relive this, but truly, I thought the Rough Riders had it. We were winning late. Toronto, those I'm not gonna say cheaters, but the allegations might be out there. Cheaters scored a touchdown with a minute left to sink my Rough Riders playoff hopes. I'm just throwing this out there. If that wouldn't have happened, we'd have been in the playoffs and your team would have been sitting on the bench at home. It would have been a real shame, truly, but unfortunately Toronto did what they did and scored a touchdown with a minute left. Ripped my heart out. I thought we were in. I thought we were in. It hurt.
Yeah, I think I owe Adeboboye. I think that's how you pronounce that properly. I think I owe him a dinner at least. starting my Calgary fandom off on the right foot. So huge last minute score there. And so following that up on Saturday, I didn't get to see the afternoon one as much, but I did get to tune in a little bit more to Edmonton and Winnipeg. Trey Ford still sick, seems like kind of the future of the league. But Winnipeg, we got our first look at Winnipeg there for our second week of games that we've seen as huge CFL fans. And wow, that's a good ball club.
They're a wagon. They're a wagon. I'm truly shocked they have 4 losses because they looked pretty airtight out there. I won't lie. Not a lot of holes in the roster that I saw.
Yeah,
Again, one game, but
yeah, the one game sample is definitely tough, I guess you want to say, but like not having the sample size that everybody else has for a full season. Like you said, I mean, 4 losses. Toronto only has the 2. They're going for 16-2 this week. But from what I saw, Winnipeg looked like the better team than Toronto. I don't know how you felt to this point.
well, I mean, again, we've seen Toronto, I believe, twice now, 3 times. This was the first
This,
game we've seen Winnipeg.
yeah, twice, and
So
then this one
twice
for
for Toronto. Yeah. And I don't know what to make of Toronto, considering by the time we started watching, they already had the 1 seed locked up. So it's not like they had to step the foot on the gas the whole time. Looking up the schedule right now, looks like Winnipeg's losses are the Rough Riders, thank you, the Red Blacks. Wait for it, the Rough Riders again. I'm
oh,
50% of Winnipeg's juggernaut losses are to the Rough Riders and the Tiger Cats. They beat the Argonauts one. They've only played once and they beat them by 10. So if that is a Grey Cup preview, seems like Winnipeg might have the leg up there.
yeah, that offense was absolutely, I mean, just Oliveira is sick. Caleros, I mean, he had some fairly limited action, but he had that throw on the run, going towards the end zone. He just kind of ended up being like a swing pass where he like almost passed the line of scrimmage and like off balance. It had shades of Aaron Rodgers. I texted you that immediately. He is absolutely very fun to watch, especially going for his third MOP in a row potentially. And I think that's a good place to kind of take off because the MOP debate is heating up. I mean, you have Oliveira, 2 more touchdowns. He's been across I think he crossed the 1,500-yard mark now, at least rushing. And I know receiving, he's got even more all-purpose yards there. But between those two and Chad Kelly and what he's brought to the CFL this year, this thing feels a little bit more wide open than it did in our first episode.
Yeah, it's kind of a mix of both. It feels wide open, but it also feels like Caleros I think it's Caleros, the favorite. It feels like it's his award to lose. I don't know. Again, I don't know how these things are decided. Is this like the Associated Press of Canada? Do they have Associated Press in Canada? So like the Associated Press of Canada that votes on this, or is this like a coach's pick or players? I don't know how it's awarded. I don't know if there's any bias there because he's won back to back, that they might want to prop him up for more,
A little voter
or
fatigue,
what.
maybe.
Yeah, but I mean, he is insanely good, and I think it's his to lose.
Yeah, I mean, 13 to 16. I mean, the yardage wasn't like anything crazy, but like you said, I mean, it doesn't really matter. He's been awesome. Another touchdown this past week. Also on the side of things, so kind of familiar with the MOP. I feel like learning now a little bit more about the CFL, the MOC, the most outstanding Canadian, is also a huge part of this for sure. And we had some history. So between Brady Oliveira and Nick Dembski, They are the first. So Winnipeg as a whole, the first team to have two Canadians with 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving in a single season, which is I mean, the CFL. One thing that we wanted to get more on was the history in the initial Reddit posts, especially. And that for something that historic to happen in our second weekend is pretty cool.
It is. It is. That's incredible. I know what there was the stat this weekend also that I forget his name broke the sack record for a Canadian
Oh,
player.
Betts, Matthew.
Yes, Betts. Yes, he
Yeah,
broke the Canadian sack record. So just a lot of Canadian specific records and stuff like that are happening in the first 2 weeks is kind of incredible, to be quite honest.
Yeah, it's super awesome to see. I mean, Betts is crazy. He had a roughing the passer penalty, I think. I think that one may be a little bit more questionable, but it's going to be interesting to see between the sack record being broken, Oliveira over 1,500 yards, and then seeing how Oliveira plays into the MOP race. And I think one thing I saw on the CFL Reddit was that the verbiage isn't like most valuable player. It being different, it being the most outstanding player gives you more leeway to the numbers side of things than most valuable, because that's a little bit more abstract than the most outstanding. Like, you can kind of look at the numbers and tell, but I think I think that'll be intriguing to see when we get the awards here, as first time award knowers, I guess you could say, for us, what that'll look like. So I'm excited.
Do you happen to know, are those awards regular season awards, or do they take into account the playoffs? Because here in the US, they're regular season awards, but again, there could be different rules up there. I don't know how it works. If it includes the playoffs, that would have, obviously, I feel like, a big impact.
Yeah, immense impact. Yeah, that's a great call. Have no clue, to be totally frank.
Somebody let us know.
Yeah, somebody let us know, for sure. We've gone a little quick here with some of the stuff because it's kind of been one thing into another. Calgary is sick. Jake Meyer, new dad. So that was great. Awesome. Love the dad thing, being a dad myself. So I'm excited there. So we kind of have some big questions here. And I think we want to go through because there's going to be a little bit more to this episode. Like I said, here's a little teaser for you. You big CFL fans, you. The first one is, who is the Adam Schefter of the CFL? Like a main news guy, because I feel like I need more than the CFL Reddit. There's got to be place for articles. I mean, obviously you have the CFL homepage, but there's got to be somebody tweeting out more.
Yes.
So that's a big question that we have.
Yeah, and with that, like, I guess it kind of leads with it, but like, if there's a guy like that, does that mean that the CFL offseason is like the NFL offseason in terms of craziness, where like, is there a day that free agency opens and it just like explodes and there's like 20 signings that day? Or is it more of a drawn out through the whole offseason? You'll have guys signing. Is there a day that, hey, Canadians can sign this day, but Americans and everybody else has to sign this day? I don't know. I'd like to know. I'd like, if there's a Shefty, I'd like to know so that we can follow.
Yeah, it's definitely, because it seems like there's like it seems like from some of the research that we've done, there's maybe after the NFL training camps and like cuts are made, it seems like that's kind of when the influx of Americans happens, at least just based off of what I've seen so far. But I'm so, yeah, great way to wrap that up. And I think that we need some of that, because I'm going to be locked in, honestly, this offseason.
Oh, yeah.
So we kind of covered it a little bit, but who's the best team we've seen so far? Is it Winnipeg
or Toronto? I know when we were going back and forth there, I kind of argued Winnipeg, but Toronto is, again, about to, knock on wood for them, or did they already lock it up? About to tie the single season win record at 16-2. If they can beat the worst team in the league, Ottawa, this week. So one would think that they would tie the record. So there's something there. There's a good argument, even though Winnipeg is one of their two losses. I mean, you got to give credit to 16 wins, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it'll be interesting here to see what occurs because I mean, I don't know. Just Winnipeg looked so good. And Toronto, it feels like has been sleepwalking a little bit, but at the same time, it feels like maybe they kind of let off the gas with that one seed wrapped up. Because I mean, I think Kelly has only played the first half of the last two games since their
Mm-hmm.
seeding can't change at all at this point. So I think I would go Winnipeg just because it was so dominating over Edmonton, but the Toronto arguments, obviously, they have the best record in the league. It's tough. Um, I guess I mean went kind of quick, so I'm going to ask both. Um, is there talk of current expansion, and if so, where? I know we have the history lesson a little bit of the American expansion and how it's shaped the current CFL a little bit, but is there more like Canadian cities? Obviously, like each province has kind of their like big capital city type thing. I got to know more about this because we were talking and we need more CFL.
We do, we do. I would like to get out in front of it. I'd like to officially declare that even if they add American teams, even if they add one in my city, I am a rider till I die, and I
Wow.
am on Rough Riders Nation. Doesn't matter. I've committed to them. The banjo stuff, everything we talked about the last couple weeks. I am a rider for life. Rough Rider Nation.
Wow.
So
That's a very large statement. I can't imagine Madison, Wisconsin getting a
yeah,
CFL team anytime soon. So I mean to not look like a fraud, I would have to say that Calgary, I mean I'm gonna ride with Calgary. I sent you pictures of season ticket
yeah.
potential buying options. So I'm a Stampeder. I gotta get us to a Grey Cup. I gotta see the horse in the lobby of the hotel. That was another awesome thing from the history side of things that we got to see. So yeah, hey, I'm gonna be a Calgary. I'm a Peter forever. Call me Petey.
I looked at season tickets as well. Obviously, so where I'm from like Pittsburgh. So the drive to Saskatchewan, one way, the drive is 27 hours one way.
Oh,
So
man.
can tell you I will not be getting Rough Rider season tickets because that's just not feasible for me. I have a job and responsibilities. I can't be doing that every weekend for 19 weeks of the year. That's just
Yeah.
not feasible. Um, so I will not be getting Rough Rider season tickets. I did look. Toronto is only like 3 hours, 3.5. I could feasibly do Toronto season tickets. I could. Well, again, I just need more CFL. I would certainly be there for the Rough Riders games, but I just need to consume more CFL. So if there's not a conflict, like say the Rough Riders play on Saturday and Toronto plays a Friday night game, feasibly I would go up Friday night, see Toronto live, and then I could still watch my Rough Riders game in peace the next day.
Absolutely. That is one thing I will say that's nice because like obviously the NFL, if you're an NFL fan listening, you know, they have red zone. I do like and this we were kind of talking about this too when it came up with the expansions talk is that with needing more teams, it's nice to be able to like pretty much watch both games. Like obviously sometimes one can bleed into the other with those last couple minutes, but if it's already decided, then it doesn't really matter. Um or I guess no lead is safe in the CFL is one thing we've learned. But um, if you feel comfortable, you could switch over. And so we were talking about needing like maybe three more teams where you have maybe 5 games a week, whether that's 3 on Friday, or 2 on Saturday, or vice versa. Probably it would probably be 2 Friday night games, 3 Saturday to give me like a
Mm-hmm.
clean weekend there. That's what we need. So let us know. Give us
Even up the divisions a little bit. Hopefully, maybe you can get uh two teams out in the East, one in the West. I think that's how it is. I think there's 5 in the West right now. I might have that backwards. I think we need I think we need one more team out west, two more in the East. Get I think it's 6 and 6, and split them down the middle. Let's set it up perfectly. I know Vancouver out there needs a team. Over here, I don't know. Over in the East, I don't know many cities in Canada. I'm actually completely out of cities. But We need expansion, is what I'm saying.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like the idea of evening them out. I kind of like I wouldn't mind adding two, like one to each and have 11 and then get really weird with it where maybe you're doing like for sure 4 game. Like, I guess I don't know how the bye works in the math, but like where you'd have for sure 3 game. I guess that's kind of already how it is. I'm talking myself in a circle here, but we need more CFL. Long story
That's,
short, we are so
yeah.
in. We are so in. Lastly, so I guess you could talk about the Saskatchewan Winnipeg thing as a scandal, but right now in college football, in American college football, there's a huge cheating scandal. What are the historic CFL scandals? We got to know more about this. Somebody, when you listen, we got to get some more info. There's got to be something besides like 2003, a kicker calling guys, calling an entire province, I suppose, a bunch of hillbillies.
Yeah, there's got to be. I know I made the joke about Toronto cheating earlier when they knocked my Rough Riders out of the playoffs, but there's got to be legitimate somebody at some point had to have cheated. I mean, there's many instances in the NFL and certainly college football where there have been cheaters. Like Patriots, Spygate, the Michigan stuff that's happening now, Deflategate, everything like that. There are many instances. There has to be well, I know Canadians are nicer people. There has to be one instance of cheating in CFL history, and I need to know what it is.
Oh yeah, we need all the juice. I think doing this like couple questions, like the 3 big questions, even though we asked for this episode, it's great obviously to get like the people who have supported us so far these 2 weeks, which has been absolutely incredible still. Um Getting some engagement there. Obviously share with your friends ideally, but learning more about the league through that is very fun for us. And like I said, we want more, we need more. I'm like this close to really getting into like Canadian college football scene, like because obviously that has to be a pipeline. So obviously, if I
Hmm.
talk about the CFL, I'm gonna have to know more about Canadian college football, which is like crazy to think about.
I think I read. Well, first I want to shout out on Twitter. Snack Bites Pete has been super helpful answering questions. He's been DMing us. Appreciate him. But yeah, I think I've read somewhere people are calling it U Sports. I think
Oh,
rather than college. I think it's obviously university. But I think it's U
oh,
Sports. Um, and again, and when I hear that, the only thing I can think is esports, which is obviously not esports. But it's the vow, and yeah, but so I think it's U Sports. I think that might be one of my off-season checklist points is to dive into Canadian college football because that sounds like a blast.
it sounds awesome. I mean, yeah, Trey Ford, he went to a school when we're kind of looking at things and potential opportunities. To talk to different people. Like he seems like he's like basically like a CFL lifer, obviously one of the more exciting players right now. And that kind of stuff. So yeah, U Sports. I gotta get and I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
What?
Canadians love the U. And I don't know if it's maybe like the French aspect,
Oh,
like
favorite and
yeah,
yeah, all
favorite and like
that.
alouettes. I don't know if
They
I
add a
don't
U to
oh
all
yeah.
of our letters
Yeah.
or all of our words. I think
Yes,
they
I don't
took
know if
that
that's
from
a
the
French
British.
thing or if it's like
Oh, I was
just
gonna say it was a British thing.
it could be. I
I
mean,
thought it was a British. I think the Brits also add use to our words. Again, it's their words, but our words. They add use
yeah.
to our words.
I love let's get geopolitical. Who would have thought? The football A podcast gets geopolitical.
Yeah,
If you're a Frenchman, let us know.
yeah, please.
I love it. Let's turn our so I guess this being our first final week of the CFL season, we'll talk about the playoffs next week and probably do a little bit deeper dive. But I'm excited to see kind of how things go. We have Winnipeg, Calgary, and kind of at this point everything's set, so it's kind of a nothing burger this week. I'm excited to see maybe some different American names out there. To see what they have for next year. And especially there's only so many teams to land. So I'm excited to see what happens with some of these games. Like, how hard are you going to try? Are teams going to give first halves? Is Toronto just going to play all backups against Ottawa, or what? So
Yeah, there's not a ton of excitement this weekend, but like you said, there's some stuff left. The Toronto chase to 16, who's gonna sit. Personally, if I was a coach, I'd be sitting my starters. Unless I was Toronto, if I'm going for a record, I play them. If I'm BC, if I'm Hamilton, if I'm Winnipeg, my guys are not playing this weekend. Absolutely not. I'm not risking that. Not a shot.
really, so between so obviously the Eastern semi is Hamilton, Montreal, Western semi is Calgary, BC. If you're those four teams, are you sitting for sure week off?
Absolutely. And Hamilton plays Montreal this week. There's no way either one of those should play their guys at all. Don't give
Oh
a
yeah,
team
don't bury the
anything
tape.
else.
Yeah.
Not a chance. My starters are playing a snap that game. I
Oh
wouldn't put
man.
anything on tape for them going into the playoffs next week. I'd probably come out and I'd run halfback dive every play or quick slants. I just run that every play. I'm not giving them nothing.
I love that. I go run the wing tee, just
Yeah.
something I can actually do. I love that. Is there a place? I guess this is just extended the three big questions. I gotta find a way for a better name for the segment. Like, I don't know. Anyways, has there ever been the wing tee in the CFL? Because I mean, obviously, as the rules sit now, it wouldn't really make a ton of sense unless you were like really good at it.
The
Because I mean,
U.S.
you would,
service academies do it pretty well over here
yeah.
in
Well, I mean,
college.
yeah, you would get the 1 yard buffer, right?
Yeah, it's
I
got to
mean,
help.
in theory, yeah. So you get a little bit of leverage, I suppose.
All you would need to do is get a beefy O line. Just get some maulers up there, and you could do it. Again, you got the gap. You already got the yard. Just get a big O line, get another two. You got 3 yards every single play. Take it again. Oh well, dang! You only get 2 plays.
But
So
yeah,
three
you only
yard,
get
3 yards in a
yeah.
cloud of dust doesn't work in Canada. It needs to be 5 yards in a cloud of dust. It makes it a bit harder. Okay, maybe not. Maybe there's no wing tee in Canada.
Wow, look at us, big brain Americans. Love it. Well, this is going to be the end of our portion.
Yes.
And I'm just going to tease it right now. We're going to get a few quick minutes with Caleb Evans, quarterback of Montreal. Huge for us. Huge, means a ton for us. Our first guest as a part of the show. So yeah, you're going to listen to Caleb Evans right now on Football A Pod.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Here it is, everybody. Our first guest, Caleb Evans, quarterback, Montreal Alouettes. Look, Caleb and I already have allegiances for the CFL. We're new to the CFL. Our allegiance isn't with Montreal, but you're our guy now. You're the first one. You're our number one here. So and super appreciative, obviously. Glad to have you. Hope you're doing well this week.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
So just want to run through a couple things. I think obviously this week we have playoffs set already. The biggest question, are you going to be starting snap one this week?
I don't think so. I think Cody's gonna get some reps, get him not fully rested, let him get the rust off from the bye week or whatever. And then maybe I'll show some face in the game and later.
Well, that'd be awesome to see.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Looking forward to it. Kind of going off of that. Now that you're in the CFL, has there been like a culture shock or like a difference from, obviously you're from Texas and then you lived in Louisiana, I think small towns, compared to you've been in Ottawa and Montreal in the CFL. What's kind of the culture shock between small and big towns and then the US and Canada?
Well, I mean, I'm from Dallas, Texas, so Dallas, Texas got cities and stuff like that. But the biggest difference, I would say, is just the different type of people. I think people up here are more friendlier. You can kind of talk to people up here more than down in Texas or Louisiana. Not saying I don't want my Texas folks thinking I say they mean, but it's just a little different vibe up here. It's nice people. The food's great. I'll say that's the biggest difference for sure. Like even the fast food, like McDonald's it's a difference between the McDonald's in Texas and the McDonald's in Montreal. But you know, that just everything, even the weather. The weather, that's the only thing I would say is a minus, the weather, because in Texas it's hot 24/7. Here it's already chilly, about to get colder, so it's perfect timing for us.
Yeah, I mean, you went to ULM. I'm a Badger fan first, but then I'm like an App State fan second, so I'm familiar with your game. Hey, I
Nah.
mean, 2017 still hurts, you know.
Yeah, okay, now we're talking. Okay, yeah.
Um, but so you obviously you have a really great college career in the Fun Belt, in the Sun Belt, in the American college game. And then you go to the CFL, and obviously you break the QB rushing record from Doug Flutie, somebody who we've learned is kind of like the GOAT at this point. What did that mean to you when you got the chance to break that record?
I mean, it meant a lot. I think I just credit it mostly to my teammates and the guys that were with me the whole season, because I feel like it's a collective thing, you know. Even though my name is there, I feel like it's a collective thing, and it definitely was an honor to have that record, especially like you said, with a guy like Doug Flutie, who is known for being one of the best QBs up here and things like that. So definitely honor.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Congrats on that, by the way. That's a huge deal.
Yes, sir.
Is there anything, I know different players have different things, whether it's specifically like pregame music or like a dinner meal the night before. Is there any sort of ritual or anything you do pregame to kind of get ready for the games?
I would say like for game day, it's not really too much I do differently, or like try to have structured, I guess. Before the game, you know, I go over my sheet and QB sheet and all that again, and make my marks on the wristband and make sure I'm on top of that. But the day of the game, I don't try to have a structured thing because I don't want to believe in the you know, super what is it called? Not stereotype, but
Superstitious.
the
Not superstitious.
superstitious. Yeah, superstitious. You know, I'm not a superstitious guy, and I don't want to be that guy where like, you know, I have to have the left foot tied a certain way and then the right foot this way. You know, so I just try to go wake up, you know, eat my breakfast, eat my lunch or whatever, depending on the game time. And I mean, I guess one thing I do is get Subway all the time on game day. I
Okay,
get a
so you do
Subway
have a
sandwich, and
superstition. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
about it. Yeah, that's about it. Only because it's light on me. That's it. That's it. That's the only superstition I got. If I don't have Subway, I'm done.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I mean, we kind of talked about the fast food. I mean, the Subway, you mentioned the difference already and kind of the culture and stuff. Our last question for you is, look, I'm a big coffee guy, big donut guy. Tim Hortons. Is it one? Is it the hype? Is it real? Two, do you have a
Hmm.
go-to order?
Hmm. Uh, you know, for something like to live up the hype, to me, it has to be like there. So I mean, it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's really good. It's a good spot to eat. But I don't really have a specific order that I get. I'm a big donut guy though. I like donuts. So they're good on the donuts. And I get the former wraps from there a lot, like the sausage former wrap. It's pretty good, pretty solid. But yeah, Tim Hortons is pretty solid. There's some donut shops in the States, like in Louisiana, that I wish guys could experience, and then they'll see the different side of the donuts aspect.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, Caleb. Looking forward to see you hopefully early and often in this game this weekend on Saturday. Good luck. You guys obviously have the playoffs coming up. Hope to hear from you soon. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm not gonna say go Alouettes because I've made my
Oh
choice in who I'm
man,
supporting, but
I gotta hear one of them at least. Come on now.
Out, my team's out. I can say, go Alouettes. I'm rooting for
There
you
you
guys
go.
in the
Come
playoffs. There you
on. You
go.
see, I'm repping too. Come on.
there you go.
There you go. There you go.
I'll take one of
Uh,
those. I'll take one of
yeah.
those and I'll wear it. I would.
Yeah,
But
yeah. I'm gonna get you a shirt, man. I got you. Don't worry about it.
awesome, Caleb. Well, we'll
Yes,
see
sir.
you.
Appreciate you though, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank
Thanks
you for
for
your
talking
time.
to us.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys.